Lyn. So this is a particle you will see all over Snowdon and all over Wales. It means lake or pool. Lyn Quelyn, Lyn Dinas. A few of the nearby lakes in Snowdon are reputed to be bottomless. There was a belief in Wales that lakes are offended when mortals try to go out there and measure how deep they are. Legend has it that men have gone out into the middle of lakes with exactly the intention to measure its depths, and they were angrily warned by the lake to return to the lakeside or face destruction. In other Welsh mythology, those who venture up the mountain at night should take heed before sleeping on its slopes. It is said that those who sleep on the side of the mountain will awaken either as a madman, a poet, or indeed never wake again. So there's a 1 in 3 chance you could wake up as a poet. I like those odds. North Wales has various connections to King Arthur, Excalibur, Camelot, Lancelot, Merlin. And of course, it's home to all these dark and mysterious mines that you can go in and instantly feel the cool temperature and see down the depths of the mountain into these kind of bottomless pits where you can see green veins of copper in the walls, where the miners used to mine for copper, and actually all of the stories are brought to life by these different sound bites playing throughout the mine shaft. Incredibly interesting if you like learning about that kind of thing. One of my favourite excursions when I was there was the Letchwyd Slate Caverns. You go down to this mine in a train. That's how deep it is. It's one of the most narrow trains in the world. It's almost vertical, and you almost go down in like a lift, but it is a train, and it goes relatively quickly. The train goes down 500 feet. When I was down there, there was a guy giving a tour, and I said to him, you know, have you ever seen any paranormal activity down here? Because it sure was creepy, and obviously home to, you know, a very, very strong mining culture where, you know, if you're of that sentiment, you might fancy that the place was filled with ghosts or something, you know, just for fun. So anyway, I said to him, have you ever seen any ghosts down here? And he said, yeah, I've had rocks thrown at me, you know. And I said, was that by a ghost or a member of the tour? And he said a really interesting thing, actually. He said that, you know, ultimately we're all just frequencies, and, you know, the frequencies of all of those people that used to work down there still exist there. And when he said we are all just frequencies, it really lent weight to the idea that you know, nobody is ever really truly gone. Almost like when someone leaves a room, they might leave a particular energy behind. And obviously they've left the room, but the energy is still there. And it takes a while sometimes to dissipate. So that could be perception, or it could be something to do with frequencies. So it just got me thinking about that idea, and I pondered on it for the entirety of the journey back up the mine to the surface. Loads of goths get married down there. It's one of the deepest places in the UK, darkest places in the UK. So just when you thought they couldn't sink any lower, Bedgellet is one of my favourite places. It's such a beautiful and sleepy little village in the middle of the mountains. Bedgellet gets its name from, and this is the legend behind it, which has been contested, but I rather like this one. In the legend, Llewellyn the Great comes home from hunting to find his baby missing, the cradle overturned, and his dog's mouth smeared with blood, his dog Gelert. And so angered and thinking that the dog had murdered the baby, Llewellyn draws his sword and slays the dog. And as soon as he does so, he hears the sound of his baby crying in the other room. And in that room is his baby, alive and well, but with a dead wolf next to it. So clearly the dog had fended off the wolf, and yeah, and had unfortunately been a case of mistaken identity, which is really, really sad. Poor Gelert, famed in song, as brave as a hound, as ever guarded homestead, hut or hall. I mean, it's a cool folktale, but actually since then historians think that the name of the place comes from Saint Kellet, so not to do with the dog, but there are little nods to the legend within Bed Gelert, which is really nice. And finally, one of the softest and most beautiful jewels in the heart of Snowdon is a place called Betysychwyd. 476 people live there, and it's just forests and wilderness, and you could get lost in there. You could go on a really long walk, and you could see goblins and witches and all sorts of fairy tale monsters and myths and legends. It's a real place of fantasy and darkness, and it really stole my heart. The actual name means prayer house in the woods, and there is an old church there as well. I thought that was very romantic. If you ever get the chance to go, I'd love to hear if you've been. I'd love to hear any of your stories or your favourite places. Or if you haven't been, where would you go? What appeals to you the most? Are you a mountain climber? Are you a miner? Would you be hunting for witches? Would you be hunting for spirits? Would you be eating cheese in the caverns? Who knows? Let me know. So yes, with that, I leave you. Mwah, mwah, mwah. Bye.